this lesson, we're going to look at a few selection statement exercises. So let's jump. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to write statement up till nested if statement. So we've already seen some control structures and we've already studied sequence, and now we're studying selection. Now this is our first exercise. Temperature of babies can be monitored in a hospital. You need to write a program that will input the temperature of a baby and output whether the baby has fever. Assume that a baby has fever when it is above 37 degrees Celsius. So there should be a message, enter the baby temperature. We input a given value. If it is 39, you can see that it is above 37. In this case, it outputs the baby has fever. Otherwise, we input another temperature, 36, for which the baby doesn't have fever. So we'll need to identify the condition first for this particular problem. Above 37 degrees Celsius, which means that it is going to be greater. Okay, so as you can see here, first of all, we need to ask for a particular temperature. For that, we just ask output, enter the baby temperature, and then we're going to ask for a temperature. So for that, I do input temperature. Next, if the temperature is greater than 37, in this case, I do then. If it is above than 37, the baby has fever. So in that case, I'm going to output the baby has fever. Next, you can put this semicolon here. Else, the baby doesn't have fever. Put it here, output the baby has no fever. Now observe particular notation that, especially indentation system that I've used here. You can see from Notepad++ that I'm using. If I input a temperature here, this value will be compared with 37, and if it is above 37, it's going to output the baby has fever. Otherwise, it's going to output the baby has no fever. The baby is not feverish, in fact. Now, you will see that here I have not declared the variable temperature. Otherwise, you must use declare statement for that. Let's jump to another example which we'll solve together. This problem is really different. If you look at it, the motion of Super Mario, if you have played Super Mario, you know that motion of Super Mario can be controlled using characters from your keyboard. And Super Mario obviously animate. And as such here, I'm just saying that I've just built a scenario where you're pressing character W's and it's causing a particular motion of plus 40 depending on its current degree. If you press A, then minus 60 degrees, S minus 40, D plus 60. Now, if you take a look, if I'm inputting degree 90, in this case it should be plus 40. If I'm pressing W, 90 plus 40, that is 130. Same for 60 degree if I'm inputting the character A. Now A needs to minus 60 degrees, therefore the final degree is 0. So your program should input the degree and a character which can be W, A, S or D, and then output the final degree based on that. Let's see how you're going to do this using Notepad++. Okay, I'm just using Notepad++ because it's helped me to type better for illustration. So write a program that will input the degree. As such, you can see the message is input your degree. So I'm just going to type in output input your degree. Next, I'm going to input degree. Next, I have a second message, which is input your character. So for that, I do output input your character. Next, I input a character, or let's say char. Just put it char for now. Now I will need to calculate a final degree. So a final degree for now, I just say final degree is assigned to that particular degree. So that's an assignment for which I'm using an arrow sign. Now, based on the character that I have input, WASD, and if I'm inputting other characters on this, I need to do a validation to say that the other characters that the user is inputting is invalid. So let's jump to the code. Now, if you're going to say I'm doing if char is equal to W, which is a character, here char will be normally declared as a character. Most of the time we can't use char here, but I'm just using it for illustration purposes. But remember, char is of data type character. Now, as you can see, if the character is W, we need to add to the final degree a plus 40. Otherwise, for A, we're going to do minus 60, S minus 40, and D plus 60. Now you can see I'm doing a nested if statement. Else if char is A, final degree is equal to final degree minus 60. And then I'm going to do for S and D. Now you can see if char is S, and we minus 40 to that. Now, based on character D, we're going to do plus 60. So in this case, final degree is equal to final degree plus 60. Now, if it is not W or A or S or D, it should output a message. Output else we do invalid characters, and then we close all the if statement that we have based on the indentation line shown here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 an if statement that we need to write. So here you go, based on the characters, we have subtracted the degree, and in the end we need to do output final degree. Output final degree. Output final degree, which will be then the final degree itself. Now you can see that I have used final degree as a variable here, so that I can calculate by jumping in each of these if statement, test their condition, and adjust the value final degree based on that. Okay, let's say you have put a degree of 140 and you press the character W, so that will be 140 plus 40, which will give us 180. Thanks for watching. These are simple examples of nested if statement. We're going to look at switch case in the next lesson. And remember, if statement as such, we don't have much question on them, because you'll need to write a program that involves also iteration and nested if statement. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.